Greetings, 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 everyone. I hope that you're doing well today. And this is going to be an interesting conversation because we're going to be talking about that star. What is so significant about that star that is involved with the Masons and the Eastern Star? So we're going to have this conversation tonight. I hope that you'll be able to join us and have this very unique conversation. I think it will be a great conversation to have. So I'm looking forward to it and hoping that you also look forward to it. Please come on in, sit down and throw something in the chat tonight. Let me know you're on. Let me know where you're at, where you're from. I'm looking forward to just having a great conversation with you. If you want to call in tonight, please do so. The call-in number tonight is going to be 619, as always, 619 98. Let's see, 619-286-0642. That's the call in. If you want to call in and have questions or anything you'd like to talk about tonight in regards to the show, that'll be great. Certainly would appreciate it. And please, if you choose to get the vaccination, it is of your own free will and accord. I'm going to leave it right there. And I hope that you definitely enjoy the show tonight. Here we go. I'm trying to get that to go in, but it's not happening. There you go. All right, what we got here tonight? Shucks, it didn't even go in. Greetings, everybody who's about to come on. I certainly appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming in and having this conversation with me tonight. I certainly would appreciate that. Welcome to the John G. Jones Research Lodge, number 144 channel tonight. Brother Morpheus, how you doing? I'm going to say this. What's up, DJ? I'm going to say this while it's on my mind. I had a conversation with a young lady who's a high priestess, and she gave me my own personal readings in regards to my life journey. And I want to say to this young lady, thank you very much. I have to do some of the things that you asked me to do, and I want to thank you for the personal readings that you gave me. Let me say this to the brothers of the order and the sisters of the craft and those who are looking to become Masons or Eastern Stars or join a fraternity or whatever that case may be for you. In this thing of secret societies per se, there are many, many levels to it. I'm just going to leave it at that. There are many levels to it. And what I found in this particular journey is that I've had the opportunity to speak with sisters of the order and brothers of the craft who's on a whole nother level, and to personally have my readings done for someone to actually say, I'm going to do a reading for you who's a high priestess was special for me. And I just want to say to the young lady, I appreciate it. Brother Morpheus knows exactly who I'm talking about. He's on tonight. Thank you for your gift, Brother Morpheus. I appreciate it. And it's something special. It is really something special. So as I get into the night show, we're going to be talking about that star. I want to introduce you to a book also. Who the hell am I gay? I'm going to introduce you to a book. This is the book right here. This book was sent to me. This book is by Kenneth Moore. He's a 32nd degree. And I'm going to talk about this book right here and that star there. This is a good book. Once again, this book is by Kenneth Moore. Okay, look him up. It is called the Egyptian and Moorish Knowledge Influence on Western Masonic Thought. That's the name of this book, and it's a great book to actually have. I would definitely say to you, that's a good book to have in your library by Brother Kenneth Moore, who's a 32nd degree Mason. It goes very in depth on a lot of things in regards to Freemasonry. Excuse me just a second. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, it gives me it really throws a lot out there in regards to Freemasonry and the knowledge between the Moors and how it had an influence on Freemasonry. So we're going to have this conversation tonight. Are there more levels than skin of onion? Brother, Slim Daddy, I'm going to say this here. I've been in Freemasonry now going on 35 years. And I would say there are levels to this. And when I say there are levels to it, that's clear to say, look, my dog is trying to eat my phone. So when I say that there are levels to this, there are levels. I would say this is based on your it is when I say levels is based on the not research, but it's based on let me make sure I say this right. It is based on what you as a Mason can do for the organization. Resources. Okay, that's the word I'm looking for. It is based upon resources. When I say there's levels to this, it is based upon resources. Some jurisdictions have more resources than other jurisdictions. Can you follow me on that for a minute? When I say this, listen closely. There are other jurisdictions who have more resources than others. Big, small, or indifferent. There are Grand Lodges that have influences in jurisdictions you would not believe. So when I say there are levels to this, it is based upon the resources and influences that you have, that your jurisdiction have. So that's what I'm speaking of. Okay, just wanted to make sure on that. Erica B, you better get that dog. How you doing? I hope that you're doing well, and thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate that. Thank you, my sister. So if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. My administrator is on tonight. That is Brother Stephen M. Jackson out of Keystone Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. Thank you for tuning in and being the administrator tonight. So please, if you want to call in, do that. That number is 619-286-0642. So tonight we're going to talk about that star. How did that star that we talk so much about become part of the Eastern Star and Freemasonry? As you know, when in the Eastern Star, we see that star is a five-pointed star that has different colors, and all the colors mean something, all the emblems mean something. And then when you see that star, you see it also on the Masonic pavement or in the heavenly deck. I would say they're not Masonic pavement, but the heavenly deck. And when you look into the heavens or the sky, when you see the star or a star in the east, it all plays into a bigger picture. It all plays into a bigger picture. So the information I'm going to share with you comes from out of this particular book today. This book right here, as I said before, it is by Brother Kenneth Moore. He's a 32nd degree Mason. And this book is called How Egypt and the Moorish Knowledge Influenced Western Masonic Thought. As I was reading this book, I found it to be very, very true based upon the information that this brother has shared and based upon information I already had and knew. So I totally agree with him on practically everything that I've read so far in this book. So as we get into this particular book tonight, Morpheus, yeah, beautiful Freemasonry is that highest sacred text. Yeah, so we're going to get into that, and we're going to have this conversation tonight. Oh, okay, so y'all get to know each other. So let's take a look at this here. The majority of society comes from borrowed order of civilization. The majority of society as we know it is borrowed from old civilization, okay? The first known propaganda of knowledge in the society were the Greeks, who were taught by Africans of the Nile. So what I'm conveying to you is that the Greeks at that time, and most of you already know, were being taught by the Africans by the Nile. Hold that thought there for a minute. It was thought that in this context that the Greeks created their own god system. So we know that in ancient Africa, that they looked at God differently than the Greeks. So what the Greeks did, they in turn took what was being taught to them, flipped it, made it theirs, and then they started naming stars after their gods. Thor, okay, Zeus. So they started naming them after their gods, all right? Although it was already being used, this is what they started doing. After which, okay, there was an interpretation of the arts and sciences. The European concept of heaven was similar to the African in its mother, okay? We mostly now consider Africa the motherland, the mother continent, the giver of civilization. That's how it's mostly seen now, only because of information that has been coming forth, explaining a lot of different things and variety that are happening. So this is how most people are seeing Africa at this time. Although I would say the propaganda that we are mostly receive is that Africa is a place of impoverished. I mean, it's poor, it's filthy, it's unclean. This is what they portray on television, okay? But if you've ever been to Africa, you will know that there are many cities over in Africa, modern city, just as there are here in the United States or any place else. It's just the ideal of what they show and what they promulgate to us on television. This is why very important. I often say that you should leave where you at and go see for yourself. And when you find out things for yourself, no one can take that away from you, no matter what they say. You already know. You have experienced it. You know it for yourself. All right. The Greeks and the Romans did this, but they weren't the only ones. India, Norway, and two more country cultures did the same. Absolutely. Sim Daddy, I have to agree with you on that one. Okay. As you said, they did the same thing. Okay. By naming the stars, the constellation after their god and goddess. And later in that civilization, again, did the same thing with the Nile River. They did the same thing with the Nile River, the Nile Valley. They did the same thing. The concept of worshiping one true God was taken from the Anunnakis, who were declared the worship of Atone. That's it. Yeah, Atone or Aten. Atone. I want to say Atone. A single God, thus removing all others. So the one concept of God, as we know, and most of you already know, came from Africa. I'm just using a whole continent. I'm not using just a certain place in Africa. I'm using the whole continent of Africa, just so you know. Okay. Now, with that being said, this says the concept of Western Christianity came to be known as a result of needing something that was similar to the original ancestors, was far and different. Okay. They needed that same concept, okay, of the one God. They needed that same concept of a virgin birth. We know, as been stated many times before, that this concept has happened time and time again. Okay. The story of Moses has been told over and over again. The story of Christ, that story has been told over and over again until you get to Christ. We know that there are books that are older than the Bible. Okay. Most people want to say the Bible is the word of God written by man or inspired by man. But we know today that that is not to be true. We know that today because there are books that predate the Bible. We know that there are books that has been left out of the Bible. We know that. We know that the Council of Nicaea that came together and put what we know today, the Bible, together. We know that King James, it is his version of the Bible, or those high priests that he summons together to come and formulate this book. These are the things that we know or should know. So in looking at those things, and you go back and do your own research and you find out, you'd be like, wow, okay, so this concept of the star is nothing new. It was the same star that led the Magi, the three wise men, the three magicians, to Christ. Okay, and that story has been told over again. It's just been plagiarized. It's just been twisted. So you would think that this is the first time this has ever happened. This is not the first time this has ever happened. As a matter of fact, Mary's mother, in olden text, it says that she herself gave birth as a virgin. Yeah, yes. As a matter of fact, you can look this up for yourself. If you think that I'm telling you some bad information, you just go do the research and you can find out for yourself. Okay, so as we go into this, we go in and find out, we said, unlike Africans who saw God in everything, in every aspect of life and place, okay, God is in the heavens, never to be seen or touched, invisible to human eye. Psalms that read like those of the Bible was written by Anunnakis more than 400 years before King David was born. This information, as we see it, was written 400 years before King David was born. Hold on, I'm going to go string on this dog real quick. Get in here. Wow. What, my grandkids? I tell you the truth, boy. I tell you. So bad. So I'm back. I'm sorry for that, man. You're getting on my nerve. My goodness. So with that being said, we know that this was done 400 years before King David was even born. To the Americans, we acknowledge, but this was the last stop of this transmission of knowledge. America did not excel what the Africans of the Nile Valley had accomplished. They built a modern day heaven on earth. They built a modern day heaven on earth. That's why most of us are waiting to die to go to heaven. Tell me if I'm lying. Most of you are dying waiting to go to heaven. I'm just saying. When you are able to take the knowledge, when you're able to take that which is before you and use it to erect, to build, to do better, to construct those things that you so desire and have in your life, you will not be dying and waiting to go to heaven. It's true. Think about that. Why is it that in our culture, African Americans, we are dying and waiting to go to heaven to receive the blessings? Why can't you have your blessings here? How come the ministers of the gospel don't tell you that you can have your blessings right here if you apply yourself to heaven? I'm not saying go take it, steal it, or anything. I'm saying work for it, earn it, put your prayers into actions, and be blessed by the things that you so desire to have. I'm not saying be greedy. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying applying the word that comes out of your mouth to that which you so desire and go get it. That's what I'm saying. And when you're able to do that, your whole outlook, your whole self-awareness change. Now, this is what I've gotten out of Masonry. Okay? Because in Masonry, we find that there are different books on that altar. Okay? There are a variety of books on the altar of Freemason, but only here in America, you would say it's the Holy Bible. But as you venture out, you will know for yourself that the VSL covers, the volume of sacred law covers a so many other different books. You will find that out. We have inherited programming to wait. Justice delayed is justice denied. The slave master put that thought into our ancestors. So what I'm saying in regards to us and who we are as a people, I would say this based upon my experiences. The only thing I have to offer is my experiences. And the only thing you have to offer is your experiences. But I would tell you this, is that when you begin to apply the very things that you so desire in life, okay? And begin to speak those things as though they are. Not was, but are. They're coming because you're putting something behind your words. If you put nothing behind your words, nothing ever happens, nothing ever changes. If you continue to say that you're broke, damn it, you're going to always be broke. You continue to say, I don't have a job, you're not going to get a job. As a matter of fact, because you are very skillful in the things that you have at your fingertips, you have the power to create a job. You want a job? Create it. I've said that time and time again. Your skills and know-how can put money in your pocket if you choose to apply it and stop waiting on someone to give you something. There were a time, and there is a time, even today, people still barter, meaning that I would trade my skill to for something that you have that I would like to have. There were a time, and still today, I believe that in some parts of this country, people barter for food. I will do this if you give me this. I'm hungry. So when you have those different skill sets, you're never going to be broke. You're only broke because you don't set your skill set. And as a Mason, you should have a skill set. As an Eastern Star, you should have a skill set. This is just true. Absolutely. Nothing from nothing gives you nothing. Okay? So they built the modern day heaven on earth. The only difference is the location and lack of spirituality in these monuments and structures are located in Washington, D.C. The same structures that you find in Washington, D.C. is the same structures you will find over on the continent of Africa, like the pool of reflection. You can find that pool of reflection right here in America, in Washington, D.C. You know exactly where it's at. Also, the Nile River, which is the Mississippi River to us, is right here. The Mississippi River is the only river that goes straight up through America, straight up through the country, just straight up and down. Okay? It is the Nile River of the North. Okay? I say North for a particular reason, but it is the Nile River of the North. Although you may say we're in the Western Hemisphere, but I'm saying you'll catch that on the way home when I say the North. Okay? Now, get on with this. It is led out from a 5-pointed star. Okay? So the pool of reflection or the monuments in Washington, D.C., if you look at that grid, you know that there's a 5-pointed star within that grid. You should know this. As a Mason, as an Eastern Star, you should know this. There is no secret. The third largest river in the world is the Mississippi. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Your gifts will make room for you. So as you begin to adventure into the star, that 5-point, as you begin to adventure as far as Masons and the Eastern Stars are concerned, because both of them have a star. Okay, both of them have a star. So as you begin to venture and really see what that star is all about, because you know that that star led those Magi's, those magicians, to the Messiah. You know that. You know also that if you are a person who's in the Navy, you travel or navigate the waters through the stars. All right. So as you look at that, I believe this was the commemorating. I believe this was commemorated the sovereign nation. The foundation fathers built America on the Egyptians and Moors' knowledge. It was their intent to recreate America, the same knowledge that guided the ancient or the actions of the Nile Valley by using African science and relics, the knowledge of building, which was given to the Freemasons. Okay, the concept of the star is forever present throughout this project. However, in most religions, you have the representation of a star, the celestial body, the symbols that were used to carry certain truth and understanding. The three great worlds religion are more influenced by the heavens, and we know This is to be true by examining the many folklores of a religion. We know that many, as I said before, many of the religions or religions of the world are governed by the stars. But they'll tell you now, even in America, even in Christianity, they'll tell you, no, what, astrology? Ah, you got to be kidding me. Astrology is used throughout the Bible. Go, you just go look at it and pick it up and start breaking it down for yourself. Astrology is throughout the Bible. The Bible, as we know it right now, is a coded book. And only those who apply and will read it and break it down understand the codes of the book. It is a book that is filled with allegories and symbols, okay, that teaches us a lesson in regards to life, youth, manhood, and age. It teaches you about being a mother, a daughter, a wife, a sister, okay, a daughter, wife, sister, a widow, and there's one more, and I can't think of it right now. But that's what it teaches. That's in the end game. That's how it's broken down. If you're going to apply it and look at a symbolism and allegories, because we know that most of the individuals that we speak of in this book we call the Bible, in this book of the volume of sacred law, a lot of those individuals we know today probably never existed. We know this. This is nothing new. Greetings to all. What did I miss? What's up, Brother Charles? How you doing? I appreciate you. That branches out 100% allegories and symbols. But you're absolutely right, sister. But once you begin to break that down, things are not as scary as they are or what they seem to be. When you're able to break down the allegories and symbols in the volume of sacred law, be it whatever book of your faith, it is not as scary as it seems. As a matter of fact, I think that most of us are more alike than we are apart. Most of us want liberty, justice, the pursuit of whatever we want to pursue. I'm breaking it down. I'm not trying to get it exactly right, but that's what most of us want for ourselves and for our family. You know, most of us want that. We want goodwill towards the next person until they do something to us. That's what we want, you know. But what is happening in society, we find ourselves at odds because of propaganda. Okay, this is why we find out we don't talk enough to each other. I can agree to disagree with you and continue to live and be your friend. We don't have to agree on everything. But what happens is that people look at you differently when you don't agree with them. People look at you differently when you are trying to explain something or bring something new to them. So they consider you be like, what? I never heard it. No, but just because a person is trying to pour clean water into my glass, and as they do that, it changes the frequency, it changes the coloration, it actually makes things clearer for me. There's nothing wrong with that. And this is what we need to help and do for each other. If a person is receptive to information that you're trying to share with them, give it to them. If they're not, then you don't have to share it with them. You know, what books of the Bible do you suggest a master mason should dig into? Well, I would say dig into the book of Enoch. Dig into that. Dig into Genesis. Definitely dig into Genesis. That Old Testament is awesome, filled with murder and mayhem. Dig into it. Why would you believe that a God that created everything? I'm just asking you. A God that created everything is a jealous God. Why is he jealous? Why is it jealous? It created everything. It created an opposite of himself. We call it evil. God is good. Satan is evil. God created that. The giver of life and death, the Omega and the Alpha, or the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. However you want to flip that, that is that God. All I'm saying is for us is that when we are enlightened or coming to new knowledge or new understanding, you want to pour that old wine out and pour in some new wine. Because a lot of information that we have today, we didn't have 10, 15 years ago. It's not that it wasn't available to us. It's not that. We just didn't know about it. We just didn't know about it. I would say that. I'm not going to say that it wasn't available to us. We just didn't know about it. It's just like going and seeing a big, beautiful mansion and you want it, you just can't afford it. It's not that you can't have it, you just can't afford it. That's all that is. So as we continue, it was their intention, as I said before, is to recreate what they had seen in Africa in America. The same knowledge that guided the actions of the Nile Valley by using African science to recreate the knowledge and building, which gives Freemasonry its theme. The concept of the stars is forever present throughout all religions. However, in most religions, you would have a representation of the star and the celestial body, symbols that were used to carry certain truth and understanding. There was great in the three great world religions are more influenced by the heavens, and we know this to be true by examining many of the folklores of religions. In Judaism, it is the six-pointed star of David, or the seal of Solomon. In Christianity, it is the star of Bethlehem. In Islam, it is the crescent moon and the five-pointed star. The star is always present. The star is always present. So if we know that the star is always present, and we know that in Masonry, in the Eastern Star, the star was used as a way of guiding those who are seeking light and knowledge. No doubt. Are we talking about Egyptian Freemasonry now? No, we're talking in regards to Freemasonry in order of the Eastern Star, and why is the star so prevalent in the order and in the organization itself? What does the star mean in regards to Masonry? What does it mean to the Eastern Star? And why it's so prevalent in the three major religions also? This is why it's important that in Masonry, you have what we call the volume of sacred law. And it's not the Holy Bible. It is just one of the many books of Freemasonry. Okay? Freemasonry is part of the Egyptian. No. Freemasonry is part of the Egyptian mystery schools. Mike, I'm gonna disagree with that. I don't think Freemasonry is a part of it. I think Freemasonry came out of it. We may be talking the same thing then. I'm looking at Freemasonry as coming out of what we call the Egyptian mystery schools. And the only reason it's a mystery is because a person who has not been indoctrinated into it, it's a mystery to them. But once you have a better understanding, it's no longer a mystery. The seal of Solomon deals directly with the morning in the found formation of the being, due to having a six angles of 60 degrees inward, reflection 360 degrees total. We tracking. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. So as we continue in Christianity, the Jewish star originally said to be two pyramids facing opposite of each other. In Masonry, we honor the birth of Christ by incorporating a symbol of the blazing star into the Masonic allegories. Worship of the star and symbols is nothing new to a great world religion. More importantly, it is a monolithic religion. Okay. And now when you think of the influence of the star and its influence upon the various religions and how it's been incorporated into Freemasonry, I would say this: it is by no accident. It is by no accident. Oh man, what other books? You said what other books beside the Bible shed light onto the factual human history? Oh man, there are there are so many books, and Manly P. Hall come to mind. The Secret Teachings of All Religion, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the correct name of that book, or the Secret Teachings of All Ages, or the Secret Teachings of All Religions, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's another one called the Magic of Jesus, is another great book, I would say, that sheds light in that way. Uh, the Emerald Tablets is another book that sheds light. There are quite a few different books that shed light in the allegories and symbols of Freemasonry. Also, I would say the Quran does that. The Quran does it. I would say many of the books of faith, not any, but many of the books of faith shed light in that construct when you're looking at it from a Masonic point of view. It does. 66 books, read and get an understanding. Yeah, 66 books, but those are 66 incomplete books. Okay? The Bible, yeah, have 66 books, but those are 66 incomplete books. Those books that we have in our what we call Bible. Get you an old King James version. I think 1620, 17 something, another King James version. I have it in my book on the shelf in the back. It's a very old King James version of the Bible that you can get. And as a matter of fact, it doesn't say King James version. It actually says King James Bible, period. And in that particular book, it really breaks down soundly some of the things that we know today. And let's look at this for what it is. The language that we read the Bible in is not the language that it was written in. Okay. You have, I want to say, Greek and Hebrew, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I want to say the Bible is written in Greek and Hebrew. Some words, some things you can't translate. Okay. In languages, there's just some words you can't translate. You may have something similar, but it doesn't mean the same. So in translating those books of the Bible, although they did the best work they could, some things just are not able to be translated. No matter how you break it down, you're going to lose some of the meaning behind the word as you try to translate it. Keep your mind open, not closed. The center of the six, the element of the spirit, the creator God. It's how you perceive the lessons of the earth story as you in your shoes. Everyone has their own story. Absolutely, everyone does. That's why I said here, sis, and you're so right, that this is based upon my personal experience as I read, as I gather knowledge, as I share what I know with you. And I expect for you to do the same. I mean, there are some individuals in this chat that I know personally, Brother Mike, who can break some things down to you. Very easy, very simple. But it's done in such a way to make you say, damn, I didn't see it coming from that point of view. You know? Oh, man. Hold on, let me get this here real quick. Oh, shucks. Yes. Hi. You're done? Oh, okay. How long you got left? Okay, so in about what 15, 20 minutes. Oh, okay then. All right. Mhm. I got an appointment. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. To get around the corruptions of mainstream manslaughter, look for Young literature translation. You will be surprised at the original context and meaning. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, don't you do that. Don't you do that. So look, I know thank you. Thank you very much. So look, I know I need to be on just a little while longer, but I do have an appointment to go to. Real talk, but many were omitted for that reason. So look, I gotta go. This has been fun. I know I hadn't been on here long, probably about an hour. Well, no, about 45 minutes. I got an appointment to go to. So I'm going to come back and maybe I can finish this up. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you, Sister Erica. Be blessed and good night. Hawkins family, thank you very much. I'm going to have to go. As always, please, whatever you do, keep your light on and stay out the bushes. I'm cracking up on some things. Trust me. All right. What's up, brother Travis? I just say I enjoy it. Oh man, I just seen this. I just seen you pop in, brother. Jerry Bishop, what's up? How you doing? Appreciate you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. I'm out. Whatever you do, keep your light on. Peace and be well. I'm out.